Blissful morning, friends, entrepreneurs, business leaders, sales members of various organizations. Those who are watching through this WebEx as well as our Facebook live channel. The live streaming is happening right now in facebook.com/SeeChangeOnline. Welcome you all to this session, Sales Strokes to Survive and Stabilize. We have with us Mr. ML Narendra Kumar, who is an L&D expert, sales trainer and sales coach over the last 20 years. He's trained more than 50,000 people plus, as far as I know, my knowledge goes. And Mr. Narendra Kumar is associated with SeeChange Consulting as one of the senior empaneled associate. He delivered various sessions for MSMEs, enterprise organizations, and multinationals across various states in the country. And I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Narendra Kumar on behalf of each and every one of you.
Good morning.
Before I hand over the session to Mr. Naren, I thought I'll quickly share a few thoughts about SeeChange for people who do not know anything about SeeChange. Just about 2 minutes time. SeeChange Consulting is a 18-year-old organization. We help businesses, micro, small, medium enterprises, and multinational organizations on two major aspects. One is learning and development through training and coaching. And we also help MSMEs on turnaround consulting, strategic business advisory services. Mr. Prakash and myself, Anand, we both founded this organization. Mr. Prakash is the CEO, business and leadership coach over the last 3 decades. And I take care of the strategic business advisory division of SeeChange Consulting. We have done more than 500 projects, small, medium, and enterprise over the last 18 years. We have proactively transformed various organizations, especially in the MSME and mid-cap segments. To support that, we created 6 groups, ably supported by experts in each of these groups. These are the groups which is listed. The strength of the organization is we have 100+ consultants with a different domain expertise and knowledge. As you could see, this is a 3rd webinar we are hosting. Continuously, we'll be hosting more and more webinars through the expert speakers of respective niche domain. More than 75 success partners are supporting across the country. 15+ verticals, business verticals we are supporting. 500 projects we have done. More than 1 million people we have touched through our various communication and services. Some of the publications for business organizations. Mr. Prakash has written more than 10 books. Multiple languages it is published. I wrote a book for MSMEs called 36 Golden Rules. These are some of the digital assets we built over the years. More than 400+ videos are available in SeeChange online YouTube channel with 1,500 subscribers. Every day it is increasing thanks to your support. You can log in and everything is free. I mean, we don't charge anything on this digital asset. Please have access and avail the support from our expert speakers and consultants. We have a footprint in a few countries. We have clients and we've been supporting them heavily. With this note, I'd like to again introduce our guest speaker of the webinar, Mr. ML Narendra Kumar. Mr. ML Narendra Kumar is an author, the first Indian management movie maker. He made a movie called A Day with Socrates. I guess it was in 2008, if I'm right, Mr. Narendra.
Yes, sir.
And it was widely used by various large enterprises for their first-time managers, requirement. If an organization wanted to promote somebody as a manager, and he runs a program for 3 days using this A Day with Socrates. Normally, we all use videos of Western world. Here is a person in India, in Chennai, who created first ever management movie. With that note, I'd like to leave this floor to Mr. Naren to walk us through the topic, sales strokes to survive and stabilize. I'll write back to you after the session is over for Q&A and further proceedings. Over to Mr. Nari.
Thank you, and welcome all to this webinar on sales talk to survive and stabilize. Before I get into the presentation, I would like to start with a small story. Once there was a person who was cleaning the flight, and then he just entered the cockpit and he found something interesting there, and there was a book on how to fly. The person was very interested. He opened the first chapter, which said, you need to press the red, you need to pull the red lever. Once he pulled it, the flight started moving the runway. Then he understood it was very interesting. Let me try to understand what does the manual tell in the next page. And then it tells you need to just now pull the green lever, the flight started flying. He was very happy. It was in the runway, then it was flying, and he was right all gaga about it. He felt he became a pilot. And then he wanted to understand how to land back. Now what has happened is the manual tells please buy the second part. The second part was not available. Now why did I tell this story? We all are very comfortable doing business in good times. But how to do business during tough times, challenging times. That's something what we should learn. But this manual is not available in the outside world. All we need to do is we need to create this manual now for the next generation. What should I do in the future so that my sales is going to stabilize and I'm going to surge further? Today's condition is, let's start off with the first part of the presentation called How Do I Survive in These Tough Times? Anand, can you go to the slide, please? Okay, here are some small thoughts I'd like to give. First and the foremost thing is, we all will have wonderful good practices. And we need to first dig and find out what are those good practices that have brought us all this way. And we need to jot down all those good practices and see whether we are following these things now. Some of the good practices people would have forgotten over a period of time because we are so busy doing business. Now, why should we do this? I'll just give you a simple thought. Once there's a businessman, he met an old monk and he said, I'm worried about life. And then the old monk asked, what worries you more? He said, my business worries me. This COVID-19 worries me. My future worries me. Then the monk asked him a question. Have you ever engaged in cleaning your house? The businessman said, yes, I do clean my house. Then he said, whenever you cleaned your house, did you find out something what was missing for some time? The businessman said, yes. There are days where whenever I clean, I get a old document which I would have either misplaced. And then I keep it carefully after that. Right? This COVID times is nothing but a time to clean ourselves. It is time to search for what we lost. Probably some good thoughts, probably some good practices. Some of the MSMEs were sitting here, right, would have struggled even to get your first rupee as a capital. And the kind of, say, the grit you would have had, the kind of determination that you would have had to get the business would have been amazing. But after a period of time, what happens is we are exposed to a lot of negativities around us. And whenever two businessmen talk, the general talk is, how is your business? Nothing great that is going on. And I'm sure that people over there will agree that many times people don't even appreciate life. Ask anybody how is life, they tell, oh, it's going on, there's nothing great about it. But this kind of energy is not going to help us. So go back and look into the good practices. Because great things are there in the past. I'll just share a case study which happened a few years or many years. You see, Coca-Cola was one of the largest brewery companies, soft drink company in the world. They were doing extremely well, and suddenly one day they thought, why don't we launch something different? And they launched the Coke, matching the youngsters, keeping Pepsi in mind. Suddenly, the entire business of Coke fell badly, and then people did not like the taste. Atlanta office was actually ransacked for a while, and they said, who the hell are you to change the taste? Go back and give me the old Coke again. And Coke relaunched itself, calling it as classic Coke. Why am I telling this? Is some of us would have sidelined our products, which we felt was not relevant. But who knows that product is required now? Probably we sidelined telling Namaste for ages. But today, right, we started telling Namaste. Like that, right? There are some good practices what should have followed in terms of meeting the customer, giving to the customer, to bring it back. When I'm talking about this, probably you can just take a pen and a paper and note down what are those good practices that you are not following now. which you did it earlier, so that you can connect it later. And existing customers are a great source of business. I remember in 1998, I was with a company called NIS Sparta, which were pioneers in selling skills those days. And we brought Philip Kotler to India for a speech to conduct a seminar. Well, right today, the word seminar is forgotten, only we remember webinar. And Philip Kotler was there in the seminar, and we had around 350 participants who registered. That day, he made a statement telling that the world will become like this, where we all will have our own set of customers and we keep only adding value to our existing customers because the business will be so competitive that in one particular business, there will be many business people. And next, he also told this, right? Your business competition will not come directly from you, it will come from somebody else. Recently, I saw Sony launching a model car, and it's an electric car. And what Sony said is, we supply a lot of spares related to sensors and all these things to electric car companies. We thought, why don't we put our thoughts together and develop a car and see how does it look? Right? Earlier, car companies were competing with each other. Probably Toyota was competing with Honda. But from where did Tesla come from? Right? So this is going to be the market situation. So let's all go back to our existing customers. Here there are two things I would like to stress. Sometimes we lose customers due to poor services, or a product should have not matched their needs, or a price should have not matched. Or sometimes there would have been a misunderstanding which has led to conflict. And those customers are not in line with us now. At this time, this tough situation, right? Just call all the old customers with whom we are not doing business and find out how they are, what they are doing, and what they want. Because we do not know. When we call our old friend, we get a contact. I can just share this to you. We formed a group, WhatsApp group for our MBA classmates. And we were slowly able to bring around 20 people in the group. We passed out somewhere in 96, and this group is hardly 4 years old. And then we were all discussing, and then we found that one particular classmate of ours was actually not doing well, which was told by one of my friends to me over the phone. And then I called him personally, and then I asked him what happened. He said, I lost my job because my company has been taken over by some other company, so there's no position for me. And I find it very hesitant to talk about my job loss in the group. I said it is okay, and then I started sending a message without mentioning this person's name, and I said one of my friends, right, probably my age group, is looking out for a job, and this is his expertise. You will not believe, in a span of 7 days, this person got a job in Dubai. Why I am telling this is, please go back to your existing customers. Probably your customer might not have a need, but your customer's friend or relative will have a need. We do not know how the business opens up. So being in touch with the existing customer makes a big difference. In our training and consulting business, Anand and myself and Mr. Prakash, we all believe that find a reason to be in touch with the customer. Every day there should be a reason to talk to a customer. Probably not on a daily basis. I can set my mind. Probably we have a retail client with us. Right? We just talk to retail clients weekly once and give them some input on what is happening in the retail world and what kind of changes are being made. Right? Educating customers is the most easiest thing to do at tough times. This is something what you keep in mind. And next is call. No harm in calling people. Right? Social distancing, let us maintain. And talk and find out what this person needs. Sometimes the need will not be very clear. I, I was doing sales coaching for a company based out in Coimbatore, and I was traveling across Andhra Pradesh and Telangana for this. At the end of the sales coaching, I sit with the salespeople and identify why we lost the sale. During that days, I found out that most of the time, salespeople only try to serve the customers explicitly. When I mean explicit need is, customer tells I need this, I give this. Right? That is how the business happens. It is more of a transaction. But there is something called implied need. The customer doesn't tell the need, but I need to identify it. Customers will have doubts, customers will have objections, customers would have not trusted us. Right? We need to preempt and then ask. Probably, right, I present a product and customer tells I'll get back to you. This is a very, very fantastic answer which we've been listening many times in our life. And yes, we tell, okay, sir, when can I expect the good news from you? No, I'll call you. And let's keep this rule very clear. When the customer tells, I will call you, the meaning is he will not call you. None of us would like to keep the purse open and then come and take the money out of my purse. Right? When I am hungry, I should go with a plate in the hand asking for a food. Right? Nobody just asks other than mother. Mother is the only person through body language she knows that I am hungry. Right? I also need to add my wife because on the safer side, I need to take care of my life. Okay, so it is better, right? We need to identify certain explicit needs. And then I found out something. There is something called underselling what people do. They just try to satisfy the customer based on what he needs and they feel the sale is over. But sometimes it's purely undersales. Why? Because there'll be some other need what the customer will not know. But me as a salesperson, me as a businessman, during the discussion, I try to increase the need and then the customer feels I never thought that I have a need for this. And that's how we are in a position to sell more and probably get a better product to be sold. I will share this example. One of my customers is actually looking out for a web-based, app-based tool, and he wanted to tell that I have an app, and my customers should get to know the information of what are my products and services. Then during the discussion, what I told my customer is, sir, I think you are using the app in a very very limited scope. App has got a wide scope, right? Amazon is an app, where they do billions of business using an app. No, why should you tell the customer only that you have a product? No, why don't we start your online basket? And then why don't we use video-based, say, product selling? So whenever you launch a product, just send a video, let the notification go to the customer. Once the customer sees the video, let him immediately ask for a sample. And then the customer told me this, can app do all these things? I said, yes, app has got multiple functions. The only thing is we need to define our needs. Sometimes the customer doesn't know the need, but we need to bring it up. And then there is something where the customer is not understood his need clearly, nor as a salesperson, I understand his need clearly. This is more of a dark area. So this is a place where we sit, explore, talk, generate ideas, and then come up with some needs. And at tough times, right, during survival times, the most important thing that we need to keep doing is assurance, assurance, and assurance. Assure that things are falling in place. My factory is up and running. I have followed all the COVID norms. And in case you feel you were able to deliver it within 2 days, post pre-COVID, probably you tell them I might take 5 days to deliver. That assurance is something what increases the trust in the customer's mind and keep serving something beyond the products or the services because we will not be remembered for what we sold. We'll be remembered for what we solved. Okay. So that's what the business and sales is all about. Now, these are some simple survival strategies that I just wanted to share with you. Now, let's understand. Anand, you can go to the next slide. And now we need to stabilize. Somewhere down the line, it's good to stabilize our business. It is shaking. I would like to state something here. Once the head of Polo, sorry, Mentos, was in a flight, and the customer was sitting next to him. Probably anybody who eats Mentos is a customer, a co-passenger. He has the head of Mentos. You people, you keep selling every time. Then why are you giving ads? I don't think so. You require an ad. People just buy Mentos and they keep putting it in their mouth. At that time, the head of Mentos asked a very nice question. He said, "At what level do you think you're flying now?" He said, "Probably we are flying 20,000 feet above the sea level." He said, "Anyhow, right, the flight is flying. Can we stop the engine for a while?" He said, "No, we shouldn't do that." Then he asked, "Why?" "No, sir, we need to be in the momentum. Otherwise, it is very difficult to land." He said, "That's what we are. We need to be in the customer's mind. We need to be in their heart. We need to be in momentum. If you want to stabilize your business, please be in momentum." Right? Horlicks doesn't require an advertisement. I'm sure people sitting over there will understand that when somebody is not feeling well in South India, uh, or when they want to meet a very old person, immediately we all buy a Horlicks and go. I'm still not able to understand the logic behind buying a Horlicks, but yes, Horlicks is a very favorite drink to go and meet people. When I underwent a surgery, I got 30 to 35 bottles of Horlicks. Now, why I'm telling this is if you want to stabilize, first thing is you should remove your gray areas. Now, what do I mean by gray areas is right, during these tough times only, instead of sitting and worrying, we can remove unwanted weeds. Some practices in business which is not doing well, let us clear it. For example, right, you have a company which is a one man army, and whatever you are the face of the company. Now, time that you need to introspect, right? How can the company become more process dependent and not person dependent? So introspect and identify whether you have process in place, whether you have documentation in place. This is a wonderful time to do an introspection to get ready for the surge. Okay. So when you do all these things, slowly you will stabilize your business, right? If you see in the hospital, the doctors will tell, be stable. The meaning is he's ready to walk. The meaning is probably after 3 or 4 days, the person can move out of ICU and he will come to the normal ward. And after that, we can give him a regular diet. Now, during this tough time, right, let us stabilize our business, right? Yes, instead of trying to pitch in for a new business, let us get ready. Let us keep our wings, ready. So do introspection of what are you good at? What do you think you should be doing more? And next is cross-sell and upsell, very favorite word that is used in, say, retail, FMCG, wherever you go. Probably right, you can develop a product in line with the current situation. I've seen one of my friend who runs an event management company, and today, event is all about public gathering, and they don't have any business. What this person does is he helps people to establish stalls for events, for various, say, businesses. So he has got a fabrication unit somewhere in Hindi. The fabrication unit was closed, and he didn't have anything to do for his people's salary. Uh, so now, Anand, I think you need to go to the next slide. Now, what this person thought is, any of my team is good at doing some fabrication work. Now, why don't we try to innovate something for the COVID season? And then they also made a leg press kind of a material where you can get that fluid in your hand. And today is able to sell 4 or 5 such products. And he's calling all his existing customers and he tells, sir, I know that you're not going to do event now. No, we have just developed the product, right? Why don't you take a video look at this? And if you're interested, I can come and place it in your reception. And this started happening. And now, right, sometimes upselling, now it happens very well, right? I went to a retail outlet nearby my home. At that time, the salesperson told me this, sir, we do not know how many days the lockdown will continue. Probably, right, there'll be a restriction in terms of no opening the shop for a longer hour. Right, instead of buying, 1 or 2 packets of paneer, why don't you take little more? Why don't you take more quantity and keep it so that you can face the crisis? And then it makes sense to me because at this time, right, I can have a little larger one, but definitely, right, hoarding is not allowed, right? I cannot stock beyond what I require. And now what you can do is you can identify certain new products in line with your customer's business. Right? Probably now we cannot import. It is not possible. But I've seen this, right? There's a website called Hong Kong Trade Development Corporation. And then we have Alibaba.com, which many of you are aware. For the sake of education, for the sake of knowledge, right, we can start seeing what kind of products are made available in our business segment and then see those products. If some of the products are available in India, we can source it and start supplying it. Or if there is no any import restrictions on such product, right, we can start identifying how do we order it and bring it and sell it inside India. And this is how we keep filling our say cash register. Let's not only depend on what we are doing now. And sometimes we can explore the unexplored. We can ask the customer, sir, is there anything I can do for you in this situation? Right? Probably I'm supplying product A. Product A is not required at this situation. Can I call the customer and tell, sir, I cannot supply anything beyond this, but can you give me some idea of what else I can do for you apart from my regular business? Probably the customer will just get up from the chair and he'll tell, hey, can you source something like this for me? Probably might ask for a PPE, probably might ask for a sanitizer. We do not know what he'll ask. I'm just giving you as an example. And if you have somebody closer to you who can just say supply this, all we need to do is write in Hindi, we call it as idhar ka maal udhar. The meaning is probably we change hands and make a 5 to 10% margin out of it. But we need to ask the customer. Right? We have choice, right? We can either sit and worry now or whether we can sit and think creatively. Right? All we require is the same brain where the worries happen, is the same brain where creativity also happens. Okay, now also I'll give you some more thoughts with regard to all these 3 points. Right now, if you see, right, the payments will be a very big issue for us. Collecting payment is not so easy. Right at this time, right, can I understand, right, how do others collect payment? How are they stabilizing it? Right, what is it that I can do for my customer so that he gives me some payment to run my business? Is there anything I can transact? Is there anything I can negotiate with? And one of my clients started doing this, right? He started telling, right, the old payments are there. I would be very happy, right, to understand the reason for the delay, and I also know the reason. But can you do one thing, sir? Right, I'll supply you additional products now, which is required to meet the situation. Right, I'm just supplying this, and probably I don't want the money for this product now. But at least can you give me the 30% of the old payment so that I can get the stock rolling for you? And everybody is thinking something creatively now. And this is how we try to stabilize our business. Anand, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, now we need to surge. When I mean by surge is be an owl, keep watching the market. I'm going to talk more about that. And next point is let us aim for customer delight now. Because now if I do something more also, the customer is very happy because at this situation you help me. That's going to be the answer. And I'll take you through the process of how to delight. And then this is a model called customer interaction process. It's a study that was done by one of the largest consulting groups in the world. And I'll also share, what they spoke about improving the interaction process. It is not for COVID situation. Generally, they've been telling you need to do this in business. And then can we go to the next slide? Yeah. When I mean surge ahead and be an owl, keep watching the marketers. Right, let's keep studying the buyers. Know what they are buying now, who else is supplying to them, and what is exactly their business model? Have they opened their outlets or not? What are they trying to do now? So constantly, when we study the buyer, a need will emerge, and that's how we try to bring a product there. And then competitors, right? There's a nice, saying in a movie called Godfather, right? Instead of keeping your friends closer, keep your enemies closer, right? I mean, so that you know what they're doing. So every day, right, we need to study the competitor. With one of our clients, we have done this, right? The sales team doesn't have much of say movement. They're only talking over the phone. They're only doing a Zoom-based discussion. We are given an exercise to the client, the salespeople, telling that right now each one of you will take 3 to 4 competitors and find out what is the pricing they're doing. Find out from where they are bringing in their raw material. Find out what they're selling and do this. We had this brainstorming session recently, and this has got to do with veterinary products. When we did this exercise, one salesperson came up with a nice thought. And we said, right, don't only study in India, study somewhere in other part of the world. We do not know. A wonderful idea will be followed somewhere deep inside Africa, somewhere deep inside, say somewhere near Lebanon. Okay, this young sales guy, he said, sir, in Thailand, 3 lakh children were reached to talk about the necessity to eat egg during COVID days, and these children spoke about the value, the protein value. And this is what one of our competitors, international competitors, is doing in Thailand. And we do not know, we will get an idea. And next is what is your industry, the rest of the world doing? Okay. And there will be similar businesses. Probably if I'm an ancillary, I'm supplying something to OEs, but my spare part is different, but my other spare part person is different. What is it that they're doing to get the payment? What is it that they're doing to satisfy the customer's need? And next is today, yes, whether we like it or not, we need to go digital. We don't have a choice, right? Earlier, if you remember, when computers were launched in India, a lot of people in government sector they didn't want computers to come, and they said computers will never find a place. I was doing training program for railway employees way back in 2001 or two. At that time, computerized railways booking was there. And at that time, the railway employees told, we never expected that, right, Anna Nagar, Sintamani, Tambaram, Gindi, and all these places, right, we will do a booking because most of the booking was happening only in Central or in Egmore. And then we were also telling because we were studying the technology in those days. We said, don't worry, when the network can go to Anna Nagar, Sintamani, a day will come where people will sit and book their tickets in their laptop or in their desktop. It's not too far because if you see, right, European railways were doing it before Indian railways did it also. But today, unbelievable, right? The world's largest ticket delivering platform is IRCTC. There is nobody closer in terms of the volume they deliver. Why I'm telling this is right. Sometimes we need to tell our customers, sir, I will help you in becoming digital. I can show the demonstration of the product. I can tell you how you can run this product in your machine, right? Can you just have a camera in front of your machine and then just have a product there? I will instruct you, right, how this can be fitted in the machine. Right, these kind of say methods is definitely going to get an edge over us or the competitors also, because today customers, right, are worried about people meeting each other. In fact, whenever I go outside, I see a lot of people with masks. I always feel right. We all are looking like terrorists. Right? My own friend yesterday when I saw him with the black mask, I said, "Boss, you're looking like an international terrorist." He said, "Right, the only color is yours, mine is black and yours is green, and there's nothing we can do about it because the world is now slowly moving towards new normal." Now, what we're telling is, right, let's do something where the customers become more comfortable. Okay, now you believe that, right, you require a blog. You need to write something about your business, right? You can start a blog. Now, some of our clients will ask, sir, blog, we are not used to writing. It's okay, right? You don't write. All you need to do is, whatever is your idea, please record it in your voice and then give it to a person who can convert it into words. See, one of our, a trainer friend, he was doing a lot of podcast, and he said, "Sir, I'm not able to write, so only I'm using an audio, but I keep writing every day." And he said, "Sir, how are you writing?" I said, "Very simple. Even I'm not a great writer, but whatever I want to write, I just record it in the morning when I walk, and then after some time, I just listen to what I say spoke, and then I type it back, and that's how we started using technology. Right? When I mean digital, is I'm not talking about having a great software tools. Even our mobile is a digital platform. So these things definitely will help us, surging at this time. Anand, can we go to the next slide? Okay, here's a wonderful concept that was developed by a person called Lex Mickey. It was very interesting. I just came across this concept somewhere in 2010. If you see this point, the 7 points, it is nothing but a healthy living organism. Right? On what basis do we tell this organism is healthy? Is one, any good living organism will move. Right? If there is a movement, then I am safe. I'm good. Sometimes we have a very old person in the house, and the relative will ask, "How is your grandfather?" We tell he is able to do his work by himself. He is coming to the table, he is eating. In fact, he is washing his own clothes. The meaning is he is healthy. So now we need to keep moving towards the customer. When I mean move is not a physical move, right? Am I going to digitally contact, right? I should always go to the customer. If you take, right, the Swiggy has changed the entire business model. I'll just take back you to the olden days. If you're from Chennai, you'll be very familiar with the concept called, there is a shop called Grand Sweets. There were days where my father used to send me to Grand Street somewhere. It was in Adayar. Amji Karate Adayar, I need to catch a bus, go walk from the bus stand. Then go sit there. This fellow gives a token, and the token number is flashed, and then I buy that, say, muruku, tatta, sweet, and all these things. And I didn't have a choice because my father told me to buy. And during Diwali or say during Ayudha Puja, we used to go to Agarwal streets in Paris for Ramakrishna lunch, where we used to stand in the line and buy it. These people were happily enjoying business. They never moved out of Paris. They never moved out of Adya. So was the case of Velu Military in Sterling Grove. We used to stand outside, and then the person will come and call by name. Please come inside. And they're not interested in you spending time there. They'll tell next what, next what. But today what has happened is, right, everything started coming to my place. Right, branches started opening. More than that, right, with the telephones, mobiles, we started doing business. So see how you can move closer to the customer. And next is nutrition, right? If I want to be a healthy person, I need to have a lot of nutrition in my body. Now, in business, what is nutrition is timely information to the customer. Assume that you're selling a product which is highly volatile in terms of price, and you know that the price of this particular metal is going to increase because you got the information, and you use that as a raw material for producing. So you can call the customer and tell, "Sir, in the next 2 weeks, the price of this product will increase. The next 2 weeks, right, there's going to be, say, lack of supply because China is going to close for their annual New Year, right? So I would suggest you to kindly, have this information and place the order well in advance." So any good information that will make the customer to decide is nutrition. And next is MSMEs, my dear business friends, right? The business is not for us, it is for our next generation. Right? The reason why we all wanted to do business is one, we didn't want to be reporting to somebody. And next is legacy is giving back something to the next generation. So always ensure that in your absence the business happens. We remember this, right? And I always tell that if you find US companies, why are they so successful today? If you take McDonald's, they don't make anything great if you ask me, right? It is two buns and one cutlet in between, and it has become $1 billion business. But what they did is they entirely duplicated the process globally. Wherever you go, McDonald's is same. And I did a small experiment with McDonald's, right? Is it really like that? Do they do what they talk? I went to Ampamal Skywalk in my area, and I placed an order, and I just switched on my stopwatch. And within so many minutes, the food was delivered. I was in Bangalore, Indiranagar, and then I went there and I did the same experiment. It was just delivered. Probably a fraction of a second was a variation. That was okay. And I was on a holiday in Hong Kong, and I did the same exercise there. There is no much of variation. And then how did they do this, right? And that's how, right, when I started hunting this, hunting for the good practices of McDonald's, they have a very detailed documentation. And one of the documentation, what they have is certain countries they sell fish. They mentioned very clearly when should they go for fishing, how many days from the new moon day they should go, or the full moon day they should go, and to what nautical mile they should go in the sea, and when should they catch it, and how it should be processed, and how it should be, let's say, frozen. Complete detailed documentation is what they have. So during this COVID times, write down all the good practices you're doing with your customers. Sometimes what will happen is we will send a salesperson, and this person will, let's say, spoil the show. Probably the young person, he's not learned the sales much. And then the customer will tell, sir, next time you come, sir, why are you sending this person? He's not able to understand what we're talking. And now, right, we might either feel happy that no, we are a wonderful salesperson, or we are too good at convincing customer. Actually, it's time to feel bad about it. Because what your salesperson cannot do, what you can do, it's not the salesperson's mistake. It is my mistake because I didn't reproduce or develop the second line clearly. Now it comes expression, right? Right. What is the use, right? I eat very well, but next day morning, right? I don't, say excrete. Then there is something seriously wrong, right? Like that, right? Yes, in business, right? We accumulate negativity, we accumulate unwanted practices, which is not good. We need to remove it, right? We need to cut those frills and see whether we are doing the right business. And next is what is growth is, right? Within the business, right? Are we having a continuous learning system in place? Is my production team learning more? Right? I might not be a very large organization, where they talk about 8D model for problem solving, or where they have a lean manufacturing in place. Uh, Probably it's not affordable for me, but don't worry, right? Can I understand what is the lean in for my business, and slowly start bringing in the lean practices in my business, and I educate people about lean, and that's how, right, a small organization also becomes bigger, right? And next is respiration. The meaning is when I take something from the customer, I need to give back something more to the customer. Customer actually pays for my food. Customer pays for my livelihood. He pays for my shelter. That's something what we all should keep in our mind. I always tell this, right? Your owner's salary is paid to the customer. The customer is the king. When I take business, right? I should add some value. We're going to talk about that a little later in the next slide. Now let's be very, very sensitive at this point of time, and rather any point of time. Empathizing with the customer actually becomes very, very important at any point of time. Recently, we underwent a 1 hour session on design thinking. And I was stunned. The first point in design thinking that was developed by Stanford tells that empathize, right? See it from the customer's point of view so that you can develop a product that is required. I will share a simple example what I came across many long time before many years. Sun TV. Sun TV had a program called Namma Uru Vigyani. The meaning is our place scientist. There are young people who will come and they say exhibit their scientific experiments or the products what they have developed. And one of this person from a rural village, rural area, he has developed a wonderful product for helping the farmers. The product is something like this. He actually made a problem statement. He said, my father is a farmer. He gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he goes to the farm, which is, say, a kilometer away from the home. And when he gets up early in the morning, he needs to walk in the path which will have thorns. Sometimes when he walks, there will be a water snake, it will bite him. And all he needs to do at that time is he need to go and switch on the motor. And if those are familiar with villages in those days, they used to tell 4 o'clock current, 5 o'clock current, afternoon 2 o'clock current. For the next 2 hours, I need to go, no, switch on the motor and the water will come to the pump set. And then I need to flush it in the field. So early in the morning, you used to go only to sit on the motor there and then wait and then switch it off and come back. This is the work you were doing. And this son was very, he felt very disappointed. He started sympathizing with his father. And then he came up with an idea, just to switch on the motor, why do you think my father should go all the way to the farm? Then what he did is he came up with a concept where, that is the time where all these mobiles were becoming outdated. I'm talking about the older ones, which is not smartphones. He started connecting a phone to the motor switch there, and it becomes something like a sensor. And the father will have a mobile in the house, and he needs to just do a missed call, and that mobile will trigger the motor switch, and then the motor will start functioning. After an hour, there is an alarm in the mobile, and his father needs to give one more missed call, and the motor cuts through. This is the product he developed. And look at the sensitivity here. Right? Because of that empathy, he is able to develop a product. And that's what his creativity is all about. Recently, I wrote something like this. Crisis and challenges are parents of creativity. There's no doubt about it, right? And today you can see a lot of things are changing. I saw somebody coming up with a mask, which actually is the half of my face. I go to a studio, and the studio person takes a photo, and then he prints it on the mask, and so people only see me; they'll not see the mask. Really good, right? These are all no very sensitive behavior that we're seeing in the market. Anand, can we go to the next slide? Now, this is something which was developed by a very say, large consulting company long time ago, and we follow this with some of our clients. Let it be with C-change clients, or let it be independently whatever business they're doing. The first thing is right. Whenever we start a business, we call it as an initiation stage. What is initiation stage is the place where we are not going to do business. We are going to understand each other. It is like before falling in love, what happens? Right? We try to understand each other very well. So the initiation is very important because that's how we try to understand the need better. And next is we integrate. We go, we try to come up with solutions that fits into the customer's need. And after that integration is over, customer will feel, yes, right, what you are giving is right for my business. And then, right, the business goes on very smooth, orders are flowing in, no problem. A month on month, the payments are released. And we all enjoyed this before COVID, or rather those who are working with automobile industry, you started seeing the downfall in 2019. But go back prior to 2019 or 2018 or 17, if you see, it's not so smooth, right? The OE places the order, we go there, we supply, terms are very good. But what did we add as an intelligence to the customer? And that's the reason why if you see most of the manufacturing follow Kaizen. Kaizen is continuous improvement. So can I go back to the customer and give him something intelligent for him to understand other than the business what I'm doing? And next is I add value, right? The value addition doesn't have a money proposal, but customer will feel so happy that right this is something which is beyond money. Now I will share a case study related to how we work with the client in Bangalore. It's an IT company. This IT company used to give us business and very happy monthly 4 5 days we used to go there, do our work and come back. Almost 3 4 years, right, undisturbed business, and it was going on. At that time, I came across this model, and then something struck my mind because I was only stuck between the first two. Initiation has happened, integration has happened. Third and fourth, I didn't do. Probably fourth here and there I was doing, but I didn't do anything to add value, or I didn't add anything intelligent for the business. Then once I went to Bangalore, I asked the client, right, we've been relating with each other for 4 years, right? Probably the service is going on, right? Is there anything that we both can do other than the regular business, what we do? Is there anything you feel my competency can do for you, or rather our competency can do for you? Customer was clueless. He said, no, no, all is going on fine, Naren. Why should we unnecessarily do something? I said, no, think over it, right? Sometimes, right, you'll be pondering on a problem which is not relevant to what we are doing with you. But it is okay, you open up and talk. That's the time where the customer said, see, we are more of a cost center in India and we are not generating any profits. Money comes from France and I pay salaries here, and the work comes from France, we deliver. And there's nothing we're doing beyond this. I said, okay, now what do you want to do? Now, I've been thinking to convert this particular business into a profit center in India, and I just want to explore doing some more business. And I said, okay, what is your plan? He said, I don't have any idea of what we can do. I've been thinking on it. And I said, right, you got to know 40 intelligent IT developers in your company who are team leaders and developers and senior developers. Why don't we take them for a 2 days idea generation to a resort and then introduce what you would like to do to the organization? And these 2 days we did an exercise, and a young developer said that, right, we are already working with Visa card and MasterCard and doing a lot of services for them. So, why don't we talk something in terms of fintech solutions? And today that word is very famous. And why don't we tell a parent company that, no, we'll do some business even in India? And this gentleman from India, I went to France. He shared his presentation, and France were hesitant because they felt probably do we have the competency? Do we have more people to do this? But this gentleman, he convinced, and he came back and he said, yes, we are going to go doing this. And then they slowly increased their headcount, and then they came up with the technology. Then they developed a lot of thought process, and then they went and presented themselves to the National Payment Corporation of India, which is called the NPCI, and it's a wing of RBI. And after this presentation was done, they said, okay, no, how do we get married? That's the time where India was also planning to launch RuPay. You know that there's something called MasterCard, Visa card, which comes from US. RuPay is from India, right? On a lighter note, for me, Visa card is called Visalakshmi. MasterCard is called Mahalakshmi. Now we added Rupa Lakshmi to the pockets. That is to permanently to stay in debts. That's the way it is worked. And these people worked very hard with the young team. They hired the sales team. They hired the consulting team. From 40 seater, it jumped to 70. From 70, it jumped to 130, 140. And today there are 200 plus people working in Bangalore, and the company is becoming larger than what they were. Now, all these things happened only once. No, we go and talk, right? Ask the client, what do you want? What is it that we can do? And probably, right, whatever we did, it was not within the scope of work we're doing. But yes, at that time, they wanted some consulting. They wanted some kind of training for negotiation, right? How to probe and ask questions. And that's how, right, our business also increased. Now, what is value add is product is being used, but is there something we can do? I remember one particular supplier, he used to supply something for a manufacturing company, and they give a manual. But the manual is very big and no long to read. This person, he came up with some kind of cartoons, and he came up with a wonderful images, and he started displaying these images closer to the vision so that the operator can easily understand how to operate. Though this did not cost him much, but customers saw a lot of value and they said, "No, this is something which is very interesting." So to sum up what we spoke is, the first thing is, right, big, right? If you clean, you'll get more ideas from their existing business, and go back to your existing customers because they have something to offer. Speak to them, get some kind of a contact. The most important thing is assure them, serve them, talk to them, and tell them what you're doing for the situation. Second is let us be an owl. Let us keep seeing the market. Sometimes what people do is let the lockdown get over and then let us think about what to do. So this is actually time for marketing. Whether you like it or not, right? Every day morning, instead of reading the newspaper, read say articles that is more relevant to your business. That make a lot of sense to you. And next is right, customer delight is we don't have a choice today, right? See, I'm not here to get satisfied as a customer, right? That anybody can do, right? The reason why I come back to you is to delight me. One of the best example what I came across for customer delight is those days Sony used to do that very well. People used to import Sony from Singapore. You would have seen anybody coming from Singapore those days in a trolley. They'll bring a Sony TV. They'll bring on VCR and they'll carry some 55 cigarettes in the airport and they'll come. One of my friend, I remember it was in 8th standard or 9th standard. He went to Singapore and he had a Sony TV which his father bought. And the TV was going on and on and on. And the only thing is the TV looked outdated. And when he changed the television, he went back to Sony. Right? At that time, I was doing a college, so I didn't understand the logic. But recently, when I went to his house, I saw a huge Sony TV. Now, since we are into business, we would like to understand how the customer feels. I asked this guy, right? Why do you think you always buy Sony? He said they tell 3 years warranty. Till 7 years, nothing will happen. 10 years, nothing will happen. It is that, right? Now you tell me one thing. I expected 3 years, right? 5 years is good, but 10 years is very good. When they gave me such a wonderful product, why should I not be loyal to them? Look at the word here. Why should I not be loyal to them? So that's the way we are going to delight the customer. And now you can use this process. I will share with Anand. How do we implement this in your workplace? It's a very simple document that you need to go through. So first of the foremost thing is I'm very happy. I thank Anand, C-Change, Mr. Prakash, and everybody at C-Change who've been tirelessly working for MSME's growth. Not only after COVID, right? Anand always dreamt of working with MSMEs, and he always tells us, right? MSMEs is everything, right? They contribute to the economy, they contribute to the manpower, and then their job. So thank you, Anand. Thank you, C-Change team, for organizing this. Now I'm open for questions. Anand, you can coordinate for questions.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Naren, for a quick 45 minutes session. You maintain time, so I must say thanks to you. Appreciate your efforts. We started receiving questions. A lot of people are watching in Facebook Live as well. The question to you, Naren, before that, I would request participants to kindly post your if you have anything related to this topic. I will ask on behalf of you to Mr. Naren. Naren, the fundamental questions which I thought of asking you, this is for the best interest of all the MSME business owners, small business owners in particular.
Okay.
Many small business owners are technopreneurs, according to my understanding. If I choose some 10 clients or 10 MSME owners, I would find 6 to 7 of them are, maybe numbers are plus or minus, 6 to 7 of them are basically technopreneurs. They have great idea, they have great engineering background or any services background. They start developing their products or they start offering services to the end customers. And the problem is they don't know the difference between marketing and sales. Would you be able to throw some light on that?
Right, it's a very favorite question, and during MBA days we used to write the differences for this, but we do not know what we wrote that day. But now, if you ask me, right, marketing is an activity where we understand who is our customer, what product he wants, and then we pass it on to the salesperson, telling that this is the market, this is the customer, and now you go there, use your influence and skills to sell. Right? Marketing is not sales. Marketing is identifying the market, identifying the customer, identifying the need. And after that, we go to the customer, start talking about the product and its benefits, and then selling. Selling is more personal. Marketing is an activity that is done globally so that the net is thrown and probably there is an inquiry that comes in.
Okay. So normally we say in sales parlance, from a sales background, like sales marketing is all about strategy. So we need to go, you need to know what the 4 P's and how to really strategize the whole business model towards the market. And finally, sales comes like typically like a tactics where you got to go and meet your end customers and reaching out to the potential customer to sell your product or services. But the problem is many organizations don't spend time on marketing. They just jump to sales. So what is your suggestions or advice for them?
There's a wonderful army saying, right? The more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in the war.
Correct.
I always tell this, right? Boardroom game is strategy. Conference room game is what you call planning. But open field game is sales. Okay. So all you need to do is, if we are all technopreneurs who are very small, get into marketing. There's nothing wrong in it because marketing is all about communicating what you are to that particular person. Today, I'll tell you Google AdSense. We can customize our marketing efforts. See, some of us might not be having a huge customer base. Probably we'll be operating with 30, 40 customers. I can understand the 30, 40 customers very closely and keep coming up with marketing thoughts which will match their business needs. And then that will evoke this person, and then he will start increasing the inquiry, and then we can go and sell it there.
Okay.
It's possible. It is possible, right? You just see, right? The morning, right? I do some Google search. I'll just share how this has happened. I personally feel today technology is very strong. I wanted to publish a book, and I was searching for a publisher, self-publishing mode. And when I was searching, I came across a particular company. And then I called that company. I had a discussion, all fine. I was going in my vehicle, and I was just switching on my maps and trying to locate something for some reason. In the maps, that particular company's name was flashing, and it said it is 2 kilometers away from this place. And then I thought, right, when I'm so close, why don't I go there? I just called that person who was in charge of publishing, and she said, "You can come down, sir, no problem. You can just walk in, we can talk." Look at the kind of activities that is happening using technology today.
Correct. Absolutely.
So it's time that, right, we embrace technology. We don't have a choice. See, when we go back to our olden days, we use blackboard, then we use whiteboard, and then we use OHP sheets, and then we use PowerPoint presentations.
Correct.
Today we have started, sitting in webinars.
Correct.
Right, especially those who are born in 70s, I'll tell you, you're the most luckiest people in the world because we saw a record player, we saw cassette, which is dead. We saw DVD, MP3, dead. We saw pen drive, which is dying. Now we are seeing cloud music. Right? Some of my friends, they do not know all these things. They see us up and down. Hey, you guys are doing something different. I said, no, man, this is the new normal, and this is how it should be. So please customize your marketing solutions to the customer.
Very nice. Very nice. Naren, the next question from Mr. T.S. Siva. He's a website service provider. He actually pointed a question on the slide which you shared. You mentioned talk to your customers quite often. That's one point which you mentioned. He's asking, could you throw some light on that?
Okay, I will share my own experience working with web developers who develop my websites. Okay, web developers are really creative. I need to give credit to web developers who develop websites. But sometimes what happens is they try to understand only through their technical eyes.
Correct.
And, they need to understand my user interface. Right? What will my customer do when he comes to my website? So, if at all you want to talk something to the customer, talk to your customer, talking about his customer.
Correct.
What do I mean by this? Is my friend who is sitting in Madurai is in web development. He has developed a portal for a client. And after that, there is no repeat business there. I'm sure, right? Probably you will be doing some maintenance activities, or probably you will help them in, say, a renewal. But still, right, you can see the website and see what is happening in the website, and then see their competitors' website, and then talk to the customer, telling that, sir, your competitors have started doing all these things. By any chance, are you adding some new products to your business? Can I help you in reworking on your website? Okay, this is how you have a reason to go and talk to the customer.
We always say, you are not just a service provider, but you are a partner to customer. Become a partner to customer. Yes. I mean, not on the institution side, but as a solution provider. If you just go as a service provider, only you do a transaction. But if you become partner with a customer, you actually deeply and you travel extra mile with them. So you'll be able to even trust you, even you'll involve you for strategy. some clients used to call me for their strategy, and they discuss with me openly, not as a consultant, but as a friend sometimes.
Yeah, see, sometimes we become like family members.
Absolutely.
And that's how we keep getting more business. I've
Absolutely.
always seen, right, we go for one reason, but there'll be some other reason for which we stay with that business.
Correct.
It's something which I would have not expected that I'll be doing that business. Right? A new box, like a Pandora box, something will open up, provided I'm in touch with the person. Right? All my friends who are doing website development now, it's time that you see all the companies' websites. Some of their sites will have 2018 copyright date. Right? Just call the customer and tell, sir, now nothing is happening. At least get your website clean.
Correct.
Right. At least you can tell, sir, your website was actually done keeping, those, laptops and, say devices in the mind. But today we need to convert it to a mobile-based, app site. So can we rework on your site?
Correct. Very true. In fact, I'd like to bring in one philosophical input. It really be very, very useful because I'm also being a salesman, so I can understand that. I hope you'll appreciate the philosophical one-liner says, supposing if you want to do meditation, so what is the basic criteria to do meditation? The spiritual master said in one sanstha, forget yourself. I'm trying to bring that forget yourself in sales parlance. Forget yourself as a salesman. You are not a salesman. You are actually an associate of your customer. The moment you feel, I'm going to take order, I'm going to take payment, I'm going to, squeeze my customer, then you are actually losing. You are not actually winning it. You are losing it. This is my understanding about sales. Over the last 2 decades of my own journey in sales, all my clients are friends more than professional transaction. Even for example, Mr. Naren and myself, we're all there for 15 years together doing a lot of activities. We never consider ourselves as business transaction oriented relationship. Am I right, Mr. Naren?
True, right. See, I would like to draw something here. Anand. You brought a word called transaction. I'll tell you, transaction is unemotional. Transformation is 100% emotional. Right? Are we going to work for our customers' transformation, or are we going there with the invoice in the hand?
Correct.
That is going to make a big difference.
Absolutely. Another query, Mr. Naren? Yeah, please go ahead.
Go ahead, Anand. Go ahead.
Yeah. The query is from Mr. Muthu Chelvan, one of the participants. He said that sales should marketing or marketing should drive sales.
Marketing should drive sales. Right? If the marketing is in place, automatically sales is in place. I remember way back in 2004 or 2003, we used to do some work with Dr. Reddy Laboratories. Dr. Reddy Laboratories will always tell that do activities, automatically doctors will prescribe. Do activities which will bring the distributors asking for, can I distribute your products? Right? Yes. Before COVID, right, all of them were conducting a lot of conferences. I think when we talk Muthu Selvan, I think it is Dr. Muthu Selvan, is one of my clients, right, with whom I've been traveling for a long time. Right, veterinary industry is full of conferences. Veterinary industry is full of exhibitions, and they've been doing it right, and we need to keep continuing doing a lot of such activities. Probably today, innovatively, we can run exhibitions in website itself. We can beautifully create a counter there. We can make the customer walk in the website and then tell, on to your right, you have these products, on to your left, you have these products. The genie can take them towards the stall to the website itself. Possible. We can rework on a website now, and we can make it even more interactive. We can make it even more marketing driven.
Mr. Naren, one Mr. Vincent has posted a query here. Again, connected to the earlier one you said, Reddy's Laboratories from a pharma industry. He said, I'm in pharma sales. Today, a lot of small pharma are. What are your thoughts on increasing the productivity of the team when representatives are not able to work on the field?
Okay, now I really understand your problem because Anand, we also worked with a pharma company, if you remember,
yes,
a long time ago. Right. So the biggest challenge is right when you are not a brand, right? It is not so easy to get an entry in the doctor's chamber.
Mm.
Okay. The first thing what you do is support your sales team by converting your company into a brand. Right now, how do you convert your company into a brand? Is see, brand is very emotional. Brand has got nothing to do with logo alone, right? It has got something more. I'll just give you some good practices what Thailand does. If you see Thailand, they don't do advertisements. They do wonderful short films. I came across a particular, say, insurance company which was actually selling insurance, but they didn't sell insurance. They identified a team called Penny Football Club. And this is a village which is on the water, right? They're not on the land at all. They only are water. That village is on the water. Young boys, they build a wooden, say, football stadium, I mean, football pitch. And they start playing football there. And after that, they go play it in the ground. And today, Penny Football Club is known to the world, not because of Penny alone. It is because of this company who actually made this story about Penny Football Club. And now my that particular brand is more associated in my mind because you are a brand who brought the best, say, hardworking, determined young boys to the world. You showed the story of Penny, and after that, Thailand tourism increased and people visited Penny Football Club. Okay. Now, what can my young, regional players do is always right be a regional brand in the minds of the doctors. Right, to do something that the doctor community will really respect you. First, gain the respect, and then become a brand. I've seen major brands who bombed because they just went about spending money on branding, and they just were nobody in few years. I can take you towards a very old example. There was a company which came up with something called satellite phones. They tied up with Motorola, and this company gave two-page ads in Economic Times. And they actually were coming up with a phone where I can get connected with anywhere in the world. At that time, imagine mobiles were not much, pages were very less, and internet was very, very low, no penetration. But these guys were making a difference. But what happened is the kind of branding they did, they spent so much of money, but by the time pages became famous, internet became very famous, and mobiles become famous, quickly they started growing, and this company is out of the market. They just withdraw all their satellites. But right, instead of doing so much of work on branding, and they also took long time to launch. Look at the time, the time actually killed them.
Absolutely.
Instead of that, if they launch quickly, they would have gained the respect of a person who travels abroad. At least, right, they would have gone into a mobile-based business very quickly. Right? So you see, right, how you can become a respectable brand to the local doctor. And then when the salesperson goes, let the doctor tell, oh, you are that brand. I know about you people, so please come. And one more thing I would like to add is salespeople are the people who lose their motivation very, very fast. Anand, can I take some time on this?
Yeah, yeah, we have enough time. We have another 20 minutes to go.
For all the MSMEs who are having salespeople here, let me tell you something very, very important. Incentive is actually good, but incentive actually doesn't improve the performance in the long run. I'll just share a story. The story is like this. There was an old man who used to go collect retirement pension. He was very old, and there were three youngsters who used to make fun of him, telling, "Look at this man here; he's still not dead. His friends are dead. Still, this guy is getting pension, and government is losing money because of this old man." And every day they used to make fun whenever he walks. Now the old man cannot tell them to keep their mouth shut. Instead of that, what he did is he went to these guys and he said, "All the three of you, you should make fun of me like this, but I'm going to pay you $5 each to make fun, and ensure that you make more fun." The people are so happy. This man was giving $5 and they were making fun of him. Next day he gave $10. They were making even more fun. And third day he said, "I'm going to give you $15 tomorrow." Guys came early itself and they're waiting to make fun. And the boys were happily doing it. Fourth day he brought it down to $3.
Mm.
And fifth day he brought it to $1. And fifth day he said, "There's nothing I'm going to give, but still you need to make fun." And people were not at all interested in making fun. They stopped making fun. Like this, right? The more incentives you keep giving and you withdraw incentives now during COVID times, they're all like balloon without, they're like a balloon without an air in them.
Correct.
Right? I will tell you, incentives should be very personal, right? Understand the intrinsic motivation of your salesperson. Not everybody are money minded, right? Some of them, they want something more than money. It can be emotions. I remember we did this exercise for a client. There was one young person who used to do sales. He was a good, self-motivated person. The company used to give incentives, but this person was not so keen about incentives. And then we were
Mhm.
trying to rework on the motivation structure. And then we told that company, have a one-to-one discussion, ask that person what he wants. That is very, very important.
True.
And then that person said, sir, you are giving incentives, no problem. But this incentive just goes as money. I buy unwanted things and then I'm losing it. But can you do me one thing, sir? Can you fund for my MBA?
Okay,
So that at
makes
least
sense.
I'll have a post graduation. For the next 2 years, I'll also be here because I know that, right? I need to stick to the company because you're giving me something more than what I'm expecting. And company offered him to do an online MBA, and this person did very well.
Very nice. So the listening is very, very important with the employee.
Yes, just go back and listen to the salesperson what they want. See, the difference between fast food and the mother is mother will ask what do you want. Right? Fast food will give a menu card.
Correct. Well said. Well said. Very nicely put it, Naren. Thank you very much. And just a query from person called Mr. Umar Shankar. Of course, he's a business consultant and corporate trainer, and he's asking about, okay, connected with MSME owners of Tamil Nadu, any reference is possible. Of course, it's on the business side he's asking. Mr. Umar Shankar, you can kindly contact our office. The contact number will be placed in a couple of minutes from now, and we will try to help you out. Since I handle the MSME subcommittees of Andhra Chamber of Commerce as a chairman, to introduce you to our Chamber of Commerce, probably you can get some opportunity to work with MSMEs. With that, I like to place one input here, which I saw in the morning in Facebook. Naren, one Mr. Ignatius, I'm sure you know Ignatius in Chennai. He's also a consultant. He does quite a lot of activities. He posted a very interesting question in the Facebook timeline this morning. And the answers are pouring for his question. The question is simple, but answers are phenomenal. The question was, tell us one skill, share one skill one has to master in his career or her career. A simple question he posted. The interesting answers are many, but one interesting answer which I picked up, I thought I'll share it here, which is contextually relevant here in this webinar. A person by name Mr. Shivakumar, who's the managing director of iSource. iSource is an ITES organization. Mr. Naren, you know him.
With them very closely, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Rotarian, he's our client. And yes, he's a self-made entrepreneur. He grew very well and he has more than 250 people. And he has not fired anybody. We still maintain them, even this tough COVID situation, because he handles US market as well. He replied 2-line response, which is something profound. He said, powerful storytelling. The entrepreneur must know powerful storytelling technique. 1. 2, he said, shamelessly you have to sell all the time. Many MSME business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, we are timid, we are shy, we don't ask. Sea Change CEO Mr. Prakash, my partner, always mention this number of times, even in our internal meetings, client meetings. Ask. How many times did you ask? He always asked. So shamelessly, we have to sell all the time, every time. And many people are not even active in social media. Today, social media is 100% free. How many of us are actually working on Facebook? How many of us are working on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is basically for professional engagement. Facebook for personal, of course, for social, personal, sharing our experiences, sharing our expressions about society, about politics, about personal, anything and everything. Even in Facebook, certain businesses can happen, especially in the service. And Twitter, there is an handle called Twitter, 140, 160 characters you can place. How many MSMEs are active in the social media, social channels? Many are not. We don't even go create logins. We hardly use only emails or on phone call. In fact, with one of the MSMEs to call me 3-4 times, I educated him in such a way, you don't actually have to make a phone call to say few simple words. Sir, I want to speak to you. I want to discuss about this particular topic. When can I call you? When can I fix up? For that, he calls me. I said, boss, use WhatsApp. After all, time management or time structuring, which a topic which will be hosted a couple of days from now, is going to talk about time structuring as a webinar title very soon. You will be able to really get, embraced with the kind of concept he's going to bring in. So many people are not actually utilizing the social channels, social media for communication. Is it right, Mr. Naren? Any takeaway from your end on this particular aspect?
True, Anand, right? Even if you look, right, 2012, I wrote a blog. You also know it, right? After that, I didn't write for 4 years. I just kept quiet. Right? But today I'm writing every day, and I believe, right, at least use some kind of a social media to tell the world you are there, and let people wake up by seeing something what is trending. We do not know how it will work. It will work. And as you said, storytelling. There are companies, viewers who have got a storytelling CEO now. They have a position for storytelling. One of my friends, Sabhavati, who is an IIT, he's a techno guy, but today he's only telling stories, and he helps people to convert their products into stories. And why story, right? There's a very psychological reason behind it. The door that opened the communication skills for us at a young age was stories. We all listened to our grandmother's stories. That's how we came to the world. And how not we tell stories to the customer? When I mean stories to the customer is not fiction stories.
Correct.
Right? Instead of telling, right, talking about your product, tell what does your customer feel about your product. I can always tell, see, one of my customers, I told this, right, my customer is generating ideas. One of the salesperson, he just picked up what happened in Thailand. And that's a story. It's a very small story.
Very true.
And we need to ask in sales. I call it as Sapani strategy, right? I don't know how many of you are from Tamil Nadu here, but let me tell you this. There's a character called Sapani in a movie called Hadinaru Vaidinile, wherein, right, Kamal Haasan will keep telling the same dialogue. Give me money, I should go to the market, otherwise my mother will scold me. Right? To put it in Tamil, it's very simple. Kasu kudu sandhega pono aata vayu.
Correct.
காசு கொடு இஎம்ஐ கட்டணும் இல்லைன்னா ஆத்தா வையும்.
Correct. We have to ask and ask. So we should not stop asking. So that's wonderfully you ended this session with this question and answer session, Mr. Naren. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll quickly take a few minutes to share a few thoughts on the further proceedings. Is it okay, Mr. Naren?
Yeah, you can.
So here, the new normal everyone talks about. We have scaled up our new normal activities from SeaChange. That's why we are hosting this webinar every single day till the lockdown period, 31st of May, of course, up to 30th. We'll be hosting every day one webinar. The new normal, what we imbibed in our own organization the last 40-50 days, is we completely moved to e-consulting model. Today, a lot of tools are available at free of cost. In fact, thanks to WebEx, WebEx has given this complete enterprise edition for 90 days free for SeaChange. I'm using this webinar, WebEx platform, 100% completely free with the support from WebEx team. I must share my gratitude to WebEx for supporting us on this, which means the tools are available, the technology is available. Gone are the days where we used to look at WebEx is something only for the enterprise organization to use. We always use only Zoom. Today I moved into WebEx because one simple reason, Government of India said, don't trust on Zoom. So immediately we switched to an alternate. We bought to WebEx and they offered this service, which means the entire e-consulting model of e-training, e-coaching, e-strategy services, e-consulting, everything has been done in the last 40-50 days. Many clients have signed up with us. The new clients have signed up with us as a strategic business advisory support. You could see both left and right. We have business health scan. We have strategic business advisory support for MSMEs and enterprise organizations. These are all some of the new normal which we started practicing. I hope similarly you can also get inspired and start doing something for your organization. And with that, I'd like to leave these contact numbers here. Before that, you can look at this website on the top left corner, seachangeworld.com, where you can download a free the deck we created for organizations post-COVID. Once lockdown is lifted, you need to go back and start reorienting yourself in terms of infrastructure, health and safety, and things like that. So SeaChange has signed up with the healthcare organization called Sipaka, a group of doctors who are already providing rural ICU services across Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. So they have given us a document in terms of guidelines for you to be able to download and start implementing your organization for the safety of the people. So these are all available there. With that, I'd like to end this webinar with the announcement of tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's webinar, the topic is manufacturing and process optimization by one Mr. V. Rama Vallavan, one of the most sought after technical and management advisor. He's the founder of JVR Consultants. He's been in the industry for more than 15 plus years. He has done several projects for MSMEs and mid-cap organizations across the country. One of the senior experts consultant of SeaChange Consulting associated with us. He's going to walk us through the manufacturing and process optimization. With that, I'd like to end this session, and a special thanks to Mr. Naren and special thanks to all the participants who are watching through WebEx and through Facebook live page of SeaChange Consulting. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you, Mr. Naren, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you. Thank you all.